Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday.
Hey guys, for this week's segment of the Keeping It Real segment, it's a conversation between me and a friend, Barry, like we talked last week. The difference this week is we tried to connect with Rico, but for some reason, it wasn't letting me to actually add to the call, and plus, it sounds like Rico was actually busy a little bit that day too, so he wasn't going to be able to jump on. But hope you guys enjoy it. It actually was a very good conversation between me and Barry, and for any questions, comments, concerns, drop me an email at blodgettshowpodcast@gmail.com. And of course, check the show notes for any promotional offers, as always, for passive stuff I do on the side, such as the passive Bitcoin miner. I do have one or two other things I gotta add to that list, but also there's some podcasts that I actively listen to that I recommend on there. But on that note, you guys have an amazing rest of the week, and I hope you enjoy. This is episode 184.
This call is now being recorded.
All right, man. Well, so Barry, want to welcome you back, man. You know, good to
I
connect
appreciate
with
it,
you.
man. Thank you.
But I don't know if you caught the episode last week, but I don't know what I did differently anyway. Because normally my average when I'm looking at like the hosting platform where I upload the episodes, once I don't really edit the calls, but like when I do the recordings myself, you know, obviously put background music and whatnot. But I had the night it posted, I think I had 125 downloads, and I had 50 the next day. I'm like, holy shit! I was like, whoa, where the hell those come from? You know, that probably
Yeah,
like 5
buddy.
or 10 most days. Not all the same episode. Like there was like probably like 10 or 12 of the current episodes, but a total throughout I guess, I don't know, maybe people were finding the show and listening to more than just, you know, the most recent ones. I was like, well, because it doesn't show me that. It just shows how many downloads, and then it shows like the newest three episodes, like kind of their stats. I can't scroll back and look at other ones, but I wish it kind of showed like, hey, these are all the ones that got downloaded today, so I could be like, oh, cool. But
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, that's awesome. I know with YouTuber, because I've started doing a little YouTube, I know it, and it's weird that the videos that get the most views or watches are not really what you'd expect.
man, I have no idea, but I was like, I saw that, but like, of course, it kind of slowed down throughout the week because like the more days that passed since they get released. So I had like 125, and then 50 the next day, and then of course, like I think I might have had like 15 or so the next day, and then last couple of nights it's been like 3 or 4, and I'm it's still like my total number of downloads since I think I'm coming up on like 3,000 downloads, I think.
Oh, nice.
You know, because I'm not really. It's on the list to try to figure out how to monetize. And I'm probably gonna do like the merch, like hoodies and coffee mugs at some point. You know, and get the stories that I've written. That I've compiled, kind of compiled them into volumes. I plan to actually turn those into published actual books or whatever, and those will be merch for sale for the podcast as well. But with the lack of time freedom for what I currently do, it's I'm trying to trying to make it happen.
Yeah, that's always the hard part, is because the side projects kind of don't get as much time and energy as you wish you could put into them.
One thought I had with Rico is you might have him try. Cause are you able to merge people on a call on your end? Because if you could have him call you, you could probably merge them on the call.
I don't know if I can or not. I mean, we can try. Let's see. Let me message him real quick.
And it might have been the navigation, because I know for whatever reason, cause I'm on AT&T, and I don't know if that whenever I'm doing a call with on the raw chat segment, I've noticed I lose the call quite a bit when we're on the call and I have navigation going, and then like on days when I've literally shut it off and like I just have the bare basic running.
Yeah.
Then typically we've had calls last like at least 2 or 3 hours and not had a problem. And he's like, "Hey, you don't have navigation going, I guess, right?" I'm like, "Nope."
I got you.
Like too much going on that it kicks you off or something.
Yeah, if you're talking about like the GPS on your phone, I know with mine, if I'm doing stuff, whenever it goes to speak or do anything, it'll cut it all off. It makes it shut down for a second, and I think because it kind of shuts it down, that might be like it's like losing the call.
Oh, got it. And I don't remember if I I think last week, I don't remember if I had, when he tried to call in, if I hit, did the hold option and then accepted his call. This week, I think I literally just tried to answer the call that was going to merge him. But, of course, then it gave me that error, like, can't hold calls. I'm like, yeah, you can. But it's still a learning experience for me. I'm like, I've only done this once since last week. So trying to figure it all out.
Oh, yeah. How does are we the first one that you had multiple callers on? I thought I heard one where you had a lady and a guy.
No.
Well,
They I didn't add those to the call. Like those are connected to my friend David Goldberg or whatever. Like he called me. I hit the recording, and then they're all connected to him because they're all like trucker or other drivers up there that he knows or whatever. Not all in the same company, but like some of them are like cement drivers, and I think he does dry bulk for Food Liner, so he does like flour and stuff like that. And one of his friends, I guess, she does the dry bulk, like hauling like minerals and stuff, like from the quarries, like different limestone and whatnot. I think one guy does mail. He's like a postal worker. He's hauling the mail trucks or whatever. But one guy said it's like a guy named John that I guess he kind of recently retired, but he said he'd been trucking for 40-something years or whatever, so he's like mid-60s or whatever. But he, like, for a while, like, every time we would connect for a couple weeks, he'd be like, there was a while, I was like, 19 days and a wake up. And he kept counting out every time, 17 days and a wake up, 14 days and a wake up. And then when, like a week or so after he's supposed to be retired, he's back out working, because they're like, hey, like working part-time, like he's available cause I guess it's just him and his wife. So he got bored. So I guess he ended up back out for a couple of days here, a couple of days there. So I'm like, hey, John, didn't you retire?
Yeah, it's hard, it seems like, for them to retire.
I am retired. I'm just bored. Okay.
Yeah, they say, there's a superstition. I don't know how much superstition it is too, though. It's like once a man quits working and don't have nothing else to do, they kind of die not too long after that, just because they run, it says because they run out of things to do, where they quit working or this or that. But then you got to think too, though, how worn down are people by the time they retire, though, as well. Like how many sleepless nights have you had? Depending on how many days you work.
Working overnight, like that's why.
Yeah.
I got the goals or whatever. Working on trying to get myself officially retired and not have to actually I don't mind. I don't think I could ever quit driving 100%. Like that's why I could see myself buying like a motorhome, like an RV or whatever. And because I think you shouldn't just retire and be broke. Like if you work till you're 65 and you don't have a way to live the life you want, then retiring probably ends up the way like you just mentioned. Where you retire and you can't do anything. You're living off Social Security and whatnot. And then so basically you're just broke. Even though I think my parents, it's funny. They're not rolling in the dough, as far as I know. I don't know their finances, but I know she was making really good money before she retired. She was a high-level nurse, doing the anesthesia and stuff. And my dad's been retired from military since I was probably a teenager or whatever. So he was kind of while she was on call all the time, for her job, he was basically the stay-at-home dad and making sure me and my brothers and my sisters basically, got where we had to go. And my youngest sister, I think, is actually now in college. So, they had me and my brothers wanting, trying for girls. And then I ended up adopting my three younger sisters, because of course they wanted girls. They got boys instead. So it's like, but now they're both retired. It's weird when cause I'm so used to whenever I visit them with my kids or whatever. In the past, when we'd go out there to Oklahoma to see them, my parents would go to bed early. My mom would be on call, so she'd try to go to bed to get what sleep she can before they try to call her in at night. And my dad would go to sleep because he'd have to get up and get my sister out to school or whatever. And they live on kind of a lot of land. They technically a ranch. They had alpacas for a while, a lot of them, a couple hundred, but they've since sold their entire the entire herd or whatever. So they don't have a lot going on, and they're both retired. So now when we visited last time, it was weird because I was thinking, oh yeah, when they go to bed, I'll get on the computer and work on some writing and get a story or two completed for the podcast, whatever. And all of a sudden, they didn't go to bed. They have the DVR, so they had all these different shows that they watched that had the episodes recorded. And they were up to freaking 12:30, 1 a.m. just sitting in the family room just watching their shows. And I was of course I'm sitting in there with them, and I'm thinking, well, I don't want to, as we're only here for a couple of days, and this is weird, but I don't want to go to bed and miss out on time with my parents. So I hung out with them, and I'm like, wow, this is new, because they're just kind of literally just hanging out, around the house a lot because she doesn't have to work, he's not working, no kids in the house anymore, it's just the two of them. So it's but I enjoyed it because it was nice to be literally just hang out with him as much as I did. I was like, this is I'm kind of, it just feels weird. It's cool though, but I don't think they want to do anything. They do go out and do stuff. What it sounds like, go out and go. My dad will randomly text me, I went to mom and I went to a movie today because he sent me a picture of my mom's car because I guess the front of it I guess had some damage because he's like, yeah, we went to a movie, we were approaching mom's car and we thought we were at someone else's car. We thought it wasn't our car because I guess somebody clipped them and then didn't stick around. The whole corner of the front end of the car was all messed up. And he's like, yeah, apparently it was our car, and so the car's in the shop now, whatever, getting fixed or whatever. And I was like, oh, somebody had to do the hit and run. That sucks. Sorry, Dad, But they get out and do stuff, but otherwise it sounds like they're just kind of and they have a motorhome that they bought, I guess, a year or two back or whatever, that's parked in their big ass driveway or whatever. But it sounds like they literally are just, hanging out at home. And I'm like, me, when I retire, I want to travel and see people that I haven't really been able to see because of what I currently do. So I don't want to just retire and be home. I mean, I do want to be home a lot more, but I don't want to just.
But you don't just want to stay there.
Yeah, like if I'm home and I have the financial freedom to still go out and do stuff, that would work too.
Yeah, if you had financial freedom, you go out and do other stuff, and it'd kind of be like working. You spend your days doing things,
Yeah. And be able to help people out or whatever. I mean, a friend of mine from high school that I reconnected with, probably around the time that we moved up here to around the Kansas City area, because he lives, I think, out near Salina, so out near like on the west side of Kansas or whatever. I started randomly. I think I got a voice clip from him one day because I guess he realized I was up here. He said, "Hey, bro, oh my God, Dad, you're up here up in Kansas now?" I said, "Well, technically Missouri." I said, "But yeah, we're in Kansas City." I was like, "Hey, good to talk to you, man. How you been?" I was like, "It's been like 20 years." And we talked for a couple hours, and then of course, like he randomly called me up, or it was one of those where you're doing voice clips back and forth when I was on my way home. And he's like, "Can I call you? Can I call you about something real quick, man?" And I'm like, I was like, "Sure." About you can't voice clip about it? Like, is it like a secret or something? Like, what's going on here? But he's like, no, it's just something to be better to talk on the phone, whatever. Okay. But he was like, apparently running into some financial stuff, because of like it has a couple of cars that are not working, and I think two of them he's still paying on, and he's trying to get rid of one and get into a better one that's going to cost like $5,000. He goes, and I was like, "Well, I wish I had $5,000." He goes, "Yeah, I know, I know how you are, man. If you had it, you totally help out." I said, "Of course." I said, "Yeah, if I had it, I would help you out in a second." Because I said, been friends for 20 plus years since high school, so it's like, I just sorry that I said we're struggling too. We're digging out of a hole. It was like temporary situation,
Yeah. We're digging out of one too.
Yep. Trying to shift, because I've been, when you come across those random videos online, like from YouTube or whatever, and had something came into my YouTube today or this morning. They were kind of like the whole mindset type stuff. It was like, instead of saying things like I'm broke or I can't afford that, and some different ways to talk about money, like that it's not, you're not spending it and it's just gone. You're circulating, and it's going to come back to you, multiply, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, I mean, that makes sense, especially if you're spiritual or religious or whatever, to think about it like that. So basically, I'm like, yeah, I don't have a lot of money right now. I'm paying a lot of shit. But I'm trying to look at it more like it's temporary, things are going to get better after a while, and so going to try to stay away from the I can't afford or whatnot. I might be, I was almost going to Google and be like, so what would be a good replacement for that instead of I can't afford that? Like, I don't have the money for that right now, probably, is what I'm kind of thinking, like, not yet, but I will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you're saying on the mindset, it's basically, the mindset, you got to set it in the best way to not set you under everything. Like, being poor or broke. If you got a mindset of being poor, then that means you kind of see yourself in a negative light. And so it can add a little bit of thought of depression or something. Like, thinking about it as a writer, is your mindset. Are you a good writer or are you a bad writer? Or are you a mediocre writer? And so if you got the mindset that you're not, I'm bad with names. So R.L. Stein or Stephen King, if you compare yourself to the people who's already out there made it,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, well, I'm at the bottom. Like I write, I also do music. I'll never be an Eminem, but does that mean I'm bad or I shouldn't do it? Or, and so
Man.
I'm finding out that mindsets are a big deal when you go to do so, because if you're always thinking as a failure, because if you look at it, the way the world sees people as being poor is a failure, or being broke is a failure. It means you're not doing something right, and that's not true. It just means that you're in a situation right now that. But then at the same time, what if that's how people like it? You know, paraphrasing, but the Bible says, I think it was Solomon said he'd rather, be poor and eat a little bit with people that love him than be rich and eat, in a castle and with a whole bunch of people that, are just there for the money and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you can be poor and happy. Like we was talking about, what do we consider success? I was talking to some people the other night on a little YouTube thing when we were sharing our music. And they asked, what do you think success is? I think success is when you can enjoy life.
Yeah.
Because you're going to work, you're going to go through stress, you're going to go through so many different things. But if you can enjoy living, if you can enjoy the life you have right now based on, like, can you look yourself in the mirror and be okay with who you are as a human being, I believe you got success. Because if your success is being the CEO making millions and millions of dollars a year, and you never strive, if you strive to get that but never achieve it, then you'll always be a failure.
Man. One of the things that, like, on one of the videos that I watched, or that I don't really necessarily like watch them, because I'd be out here working. I might have it playing, or I'm kind of like listening, because the phone's up in the phone mount and stuff. So that way it's still hands free for all the listeners out there. I'm not touching my phone, don't worry. But one of them was talking about, because it was the same channel, it's just a different video. So I went ahead and I subscribed and followed, so that way I'd get alerts. Because like, oh, this is actually very, because hey, anything that's like a positive influence on you, as far as like a video with like advice or whatever, I'm like, hey, that's actually really, really beneficial and really helpful. So the first one was about like the lottery. It said like, and it talked about like most of us we try to talk about abundance and gratitude after money's already appeared in our life, and that's backwards. That's reacting to the money appearing in your life. That's not, manifesting it, like thinking and speaking it to yourself, and getting yourself to believe it before it happens. Because they talked about that people buying lottery tickets that are actually, have been broke and poor and whatever their whole lives, but then they started doing the teachings that this guy was talking about, where they think to themselves as if they've already won it, as if the wealth has already happened. And then that way they're buying tickets, not hoping that they're going to win. They're buying these tickets with the assumption, with the feeling that they're wealthy, the money just hasn't caught up to them yet. And I'm like, well, that's actually a really, really good way of, because then when they do win, they're not like, surprised. Like they're like, I wasn't even surprised that the ticket won, because I figure I've already been feeling like I was wealthy for the past couple months, and the money just hadn't caught up to me yet, or that situation. I'm like, well, that's cool, because then you're not like hoping for it to happen. You're telling yourself it is going to happen, it's coming. You just just keep doing, going through the motions and living every day like you already are, and then eventually the universe manifests it and it just happens. Suddenly you're where you've been wanting to get to. So definitely it was very and there's the last video I tuned into was kind of like, it was more say this every day, like say this when you wake up and before you go to sleep, and like don't look at it. That was the one that was talking about, like, there might be things that you're saying to yourself that are basically like having a negative effect in your life. And that was like saying like, I'm broke, I don't afford that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I do say I can't afford that right now, but that's why I throw the right now in there because like, well, I can't afford it right this second, but I might just have to change it up because obviously like keep doing what we got to do. Like you said, like as long as you're happy. So like, I mean, I have a lot of money at the moment. I'm making quite a bit at my job. I do pretty well for what I do, but with the all the outgoing, digging out of the hole and whatnot because of the moving company that we had to deal with, and we had to rent furniture and stuff like that. And some of the stuff we kept, with Rent a Center because when we got our stuff, instead of sending stuff back, like we got because we had my daughter's bedroom set, my wife's and my bedroom set, and a bunch of other stuff that was basically in storage with the moving company because of the financial stuff where the price like doubled on us. It went from like actually not quite double. It went from like $7,000 to like $12,000 that they wanted. We were like, well, shit, we don't have that. So it took a while for me to kind of like fight. Yeah. So I was fighting with them and for at least 3 months and going back and forth and basically talking to the Attorney General, and I was doing anything and everything I could. My wife, you know how it is, like they want you to fix everything. So it's like, why don't you call the moving company and fight with them? Like yell at them on the phone. I'm like, no. I was like, I'll call. I'll message them. Like I'll email. I'll call the Attorney General. I'll report the Better Business Bureau. I'll do anything and everything and send messages. So because I wanted a paper trail. Like if it ever ended up in court, I wanted to have documentation of all the conversations, and they wouldn't call me on this line. Like at one point, because they were calling me and then fighting with me over the phone, saying like, no, you have to pay this like $4,000 up front before we'll even bring your stuff from Tennessee to Missouri. I'm like, yeah, but before it was like we had to pay $2,000 at pickup, and suddenly it was $4,000. That's why you guys left with our stuff and just never showed up here. But at one point, I actually messaged them and said, for future calls, I need you guys to call me on this number because future phone calls are going to be, I'm giving you guys notice that they're going to be recorded. Never heard another peep from them. Like they were emailing me, but they didn't call me because they probably didn't want it on record. And so,
a lot of them don't.
Yep.
The reason I know that is I used to work for Apple, right? And I used to take calls. And when I'd take my lunch, I'd have to disconnect. So basically you go on the computer, you hit, basically go into work, and then it would connect your phone up into the system and stuff. Well, whenever I'd eat my lunch, I'd still take my lunch from in that room, and I'd get calls. And it would just be such a habit of when I pick up the call, hey, thank you for contacting Equitable Support. My name is Barry. How can I help you today? Or I think it's, my name is Barry. Can I get your name and phone number in case we disconnect? I can recall you. I forget. It was a whole little slew you had to talk about. And so when I started answering like that, because before I got used to doing that, people like ADT would call me for security. You'd have these different businesses and stuff would call me. Once I started answering like that, they would just immediately hang up. And so it was funny. And so, a lot of people don't like being recorded.
Yeah, but which is funny because I was still everything was still being documented. I had all the text messages, I had all the email correspondence, and I think at one point, what is it, Legal Shield or something? Those lawyer memberships you could get where you can pay like so much per month or per year, and you can actually have free consultations with an attorney or something.
Yep.
I think I signed up with Legal Shield. I think I paid I think I did it for like 6 months. It was like $100 something for like 6 months, and they wanted me to, I guess they were like, yeah, what can we do for you? They connected with an attorney, like, what can we do for you? And I'm like, well, this is what's going on. I said we moved up here back in June. I was like, the moving company kind of doubled our rate, midway. Like they loaded the truck halfway, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's all the space that you were allotted. I'm like, no. I was like, we were told a full 26-foot truck. Like, what's going on? Well, that's equivalent to 26 feet right there. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, this truck is probably 26 feet itself. How do you figure half of that is, because it's 32 feet or 34 feet, and so overall volume, equates to basically about, because 26 foot is like, 1,700 cubic feet volume, and this truck is like 30 something, or 3,000 or 3,200 or something, and that's why it's right there. I'm like, 30 feet is not double the length of a 26-foot truck, so the math is not quite mathing here. But they caught me when we'd been up all day, and like, cause they were supposed to come, I think, like 10 a.m. And we'd already been trying to finish up packing the house, get ready for them to show up. And so we were up really late the night before, still getting boxes packed and trying to get things ready for the movers to show up. And I think we got to bed at like 2, and I planned it for them to be there at like 9:30, 10 o'clock. I got up at like 7 because we needed more boxes. So I got up. I knew Walmart would be open again, so I ran over there really quick. I was over there for like an hour and a half because I was like, get more boxes, get more tape. You know how it is when you think you got, you think you got enough, but you did, still didn't get enough. Like you buy a lot extra and you still run short. I'm like, man. But coming back home at like 10 o'clock, planning for them to be there, they're calling me going, oh yeah, actually our ETA now, it's like 3 to 5. Well shit. I was like, I would have slept in then, I was like, but then 5 o'clock came around and they still hadn't showed up, and I'm texting the driver that called me, and I'm texting the movie company that hired that, because apparently I realized way too late that we hired a broker. We didn't actually, the company I got in contact with, I did all the red flags that I learned about after the fact when you read like movie horror stories online. Like you look at like Reddit, and they talk about like never pay a deposit over the phone, never get an estimate over the phone. Movie companies will they'll usually send, if they're a legit company, they'll send somebody to your house to walk around and look at everything and give you an estimate. That way, I'm reading all this laying in bed next to my wife, like probably like the second week after we've, when we kind of gotten, bedroom sets and stuff from Reddit Center, and we're paying weekly for those. We're like, our current bill at Reddit Center is like $200 something per week, but we got some good, we got good stuff, including including the e-bikes that we have too. But laying in bed next to her, I'm reading this stuff on Reddit, and literally like she's reading something on her phone. She does like the Kindle on her phone before she goes to sleep. So she's reading, and I'm next to her, and all of a sudden I'm just going, fuck. She's like, what? And I'm like, I was like, listen to this, and I kind of reading off the signs that you're. You got to watch out for when you're dealing with moving companies. And I'm like, don't pay a deposit over the phone. Don't get an estimate over the phone. And literally, I listed off like 5 things, and I'm just like, and Erin's like, my wife's like, well, shit. She goes, we did all of them. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I didn't know, though. Because, like, first time hiring professional movers, or what I thought were professional movers, dealt with the first company that called me, and basically, in order to schedule, because I scheduled out like 2.5 months in advance. And, of course, I was trying to be proactive, and, in order to schedule it, there's like a $1,600 deposit, blah, 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 to get on the books. And I was like, well, like, can I get home and talk to my wife about it first? He said, yeah, that's no problem, but if you wait too long, like, the amount might go up because of the fact that we're going into moving season. And so they, they bait, line, and hooks me, So
and that's the biggest thing with companies too, man, is we got a company that did some roofing work for us. Our normal construction guy who works on our house was out of town. Roof was leaking, rain and snow, everything else is about to get ready to drop here, and we're like, we got to get this fixed, 'cause, man, we had water coming through our light fixtures. And so we got them to do the work, right? Okay. So then they come by, they're like, hey, let us just give estimates and stuff like this. I'm like, you know what? Free estimate for something that we're actually trying to do won't be that bad. We got 3 doors in our house. We sit down with this guy, and the estimate he gives us, outrageous. So we got 3 doors we want to replace, but we want to get the back door like a French door and just 2 other just regular normal doors. And he's talking about over 20 grand. But if you sign up today, man, we can do it for like 17. And we ain't giving nobody 17 grand to do 3 doors. Are you kidding me?
Ooh. It's like, ooh, 3 grand. Oh man, oh man, I appreciate you all so much.
Yeah. And I'm like, and so even when it's not on that scale, a lot of people now, man, it's the pressure. People have found out that people are impulsive, and just like even stores know that they have people buy, out of impulse or out of stress or out of, if you can make people, if you want the best way to try to get somebody to do something for you or be confused, overwhelm them with the there and now. Make sure that their brain can't process what's going on. They can't redirect the fear. Because when you overwhelm somebody, they can get anxiety, have panic attacks, get scared, and then some people don't know how to deal with conflict because that then becomes a confrontation for that individual.
Yeah.
And so it's that's what they do. So they get you in a stressful situation, and they kind of like, and then and instead of giving you time to think, they'll throw other stuff in there at you. Without, they're basically just circling back. They're just running in a circle with just little bit, you can sell a cheeseburger 10 different ways. Well, we'll throw some ketchup and some mustard on here for you, and we won't even charge you extra for it. But if you look at it now, though, we can actually throw some cheese on there for you, 50 cents more. That's it, And so you can, if you keep overwhelming them over time, exactly, over and over and over, if you keep throwing at them, they'll be so overwhelmed. If they don't know how to just say no, they got you.
It's funny, it's not, and similar, like, not necessarily the high pressure, like, stress or whatever, but similar situation if you take, like, trying to sell you on, like, switching phone providers, like, hey, you know how they throw get a free you can get a brand new phone and blah, blah, blah. Because, like, we dealt with that with AT&T. Which
oh, man.
I've recently tried to switch from AT&T back to something else. Or, like, I was going to try to go to T-Mobile because our bill would be a little bit less. Like, we switched from Mint Mobile. Like, I had a Pixel 7. My wife, I think she had she had a Galaxy. It might have been 23. She was trying to go to the 25. My phone's fine, but, I guess my wife's harder on things. Cars and phones, But she's not bad with them. I think she's just, when it comes between the two of us, like, I tend to have my phone for a while and not have an issue. She'll have her phone the same amount of time. And it'll be like, oh, man, I'm having this issue. I need a new phone. I'll be like, oh, okay, well, we'll be able to afford one. We'll be able to get one eventually, like just, put money aside for it or something. Because, Mint Mobile, they didn't have an option for, like you can buy a phone with them, but they don't have any, like, where you could, the phone contracts, we could upgrade and whatnot. But
I got you.
I loved their service, though. Like, I would go back to them in a heartbeat because I think for my line, I was paying, like, $200 and something for my line, and it was for 6 months. And a lot of times you could talk to customer care, and, they would usually give you a deal, like, if they want to keep you around. They'd be like, hey, we'll take 40 or $50 off your 6-month plan. It's like $170, $180, and I'm like, I like that. 6 months for $180? Hey, hell yeah, But my wife really wanted a new phone because hers, I guess, was giving her a lot of problems. And we'd had ours for probably 2 years or longer. But we had AT&T for home internet, and I guess something happened. Somebody nearby messed with something, and the line got cut. Something we didn't have internet at home. It went from, like, we were actually, like, streaming to all of a sudden we had no connection at all, and so we had to have, I was out here, I think I was on my way back from, it was like a early morning probably around this time when she had scheduled like an AT&T tech to come out and check the internet. And that's when they saw, oh yeah, the line got cut for some reason. So he's repairing it, getting it fixed, getting it back running again. And then I don't know if it's the same guy or a different AT&T guy showed up, but she had this AT&T guy that when it was being fixed, some of the guy showed up, or the same guy, I don't know, was talking to her about the phones. Hey, who do you have for your phones? She's like, oh, we have Mint. He's, oh, okay. Well, have you ever thought of switching? Of making a switch, coming over, we can get you with brand new phones for free with trading in your current phones. Like you could have the brand new Pix or the Galaxy 25 Ultra, blah blah blah, and your husband could have the brand new Pixel 9, which the 10 wasn't out when we switched. It was still the 9, and I was at the 7, and so your bill would only be like $100 a month for the two of you. And I'm like, so of course, like, instead of the stress, he caught her, because my wife's the impulse buyer for sure. Like, she gets excited, oh, we can do oh, man, always packages showing up. And she has good reasons for, it's not like just random stuff that there's no use for, like hoarding. There's actually stuff that'll show up like, hey, I got this for the front porch, or I got this for the kids, or whatever, or I got this for the back patio. Okay. It's stuff that we have use for, but it's not necessarily needed right this second. But I try not to have those conversations too much with her because I'll let her do her thing because But
one thing I hate, and this kind of goes in with that, is and it just come on my head. We have Comcast for home internet. And one thing that I hate that they do, and I don't know if other companies do it, but they have made customer service people salesmen, or have made salesmen customer service people. And every time, and they don't ever try to sell us on anything until we're talking to them because we need help. They got an app. We get on the app. Bam. You know what? We're having this issue. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hey, how do you like your phone service? We're good, thank you. Well, hey, let me tell you about it. And so while I gotta wait for them to take 10 minutes just to reset my router, they're doing this spiel of doing it. I'm like, well, we're good right now. We appreciate it. But hey, you know what? And it's like, and so we gotta sit here and they won't take no for an answer. And the thing is though, is if you don't answer them because you're tired of this, they can just end the little prompt that they have with you, and then you got to start all over again. And so Comcast sucks with customer service, but they shouldn't try to, like, if you need help and they're trying to help you fix a problem with their service, they shouldn't be trying to sell you service. Like, that is a bad time. Like, oh, well, no, you can't even get what we're paying you for, right? You think we're going to switch a phone company that's actually working to, what are you going to try to sell me when I have problems with the phone? Yeah. How am I even going to get in touch with you?
and especially when what they tell you doesn't add up. Cause so she called me and I was like maybe about as far away from Kansas City as I am now. And she's like, hey, love, how would you like to get to the new Pixel? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what did you do? It's like nothing. There's just AT&T's here right now, and they're fixing. They got their internet back up, and they're talking to me about the phones, and if we trade in our phones, like we could get our, I get the brand new Galaxy, get the brand new Pixel, and it'd be like $100 per month for our two lines. And of course, I'm doing the math in my head, like, all right, well, probably. I mean, the way the calculation I kind of did when I was thinking about it was like, all right, it's probably like $20 or $30 more per month, individually than what we're paying currently with Mint. I was like, all right, that sounds good, I was like, but love, I was like, I don't like having a monthly bill. I'd rather pay for, 6 months or a year and basically be like, hey, we don't have to worry about paying the phone bill each month. But it sounded really appealing, because of getting being able to get the new Pixel and her being able to get her new phone. And plus they pitched the, we have the upgrade anytime option, where you can upgrade 3 times a year. you know, and it's not cost anything, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, okay, you know. I was like, so we couldn't do everything over the phone, so basically it's like, well, we'd have to do it in person because I have to scan your ID, but like, when you get to get home and I can come back, I'm like, I'll be home probably in like 2 hours. So I'm like maybe like an hour away from Kansas City. Got to drop these trailers, and then grab my truck, and then head towards home. I'll probably be back there around this time. He's all right, cool, yeah, I'll come back. So we did the order and stuff. Our phones are literally, surprisingly, like when they did the order by like 2 p.m. on a Thursday, we were expecting like it was gonna be a couple of days. Get a message Friday night or Thursday night, basically saying like, there's a FedEx shipment, blah blah blah, sent out today, expect it tomorrow. I'm like, really? Holy crap, that's fast! And it literally, we got them Friday. Activated our phones. Had to call them in to talk. You know, we still had like a month or month and a half on our 6-month thing, which we lost that. You know, they don't refund you back if you leave your time early or whatever. But they were trying to explain to them like, we're not leaving because we don't like service events. You know, we just wish that you guys had an option for being able to get phones a little easier than having to fully outright buy them. And so we're like, we might be back someday, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, we got those, my wife and I set up on those lines, and we added, basically, instead of trading in my 7, I gave it to my daughter because she had a Pixel 5. And so I got her, because my phone is fine. I didn't have it, like, yeah, I had some small issues, like the battery when it gets down on that Pixel 7. If it gets down below 10%, the battery drops really fast. But up to that point, it'll last for a while. It's just once it hits 10%, within like probably half an hour, you're like, hey, guess what? 2%, your phone's gonna die. Oh shit, it was at 10% a minute ago. But
yeah, batteries are, man, that's one bad thing. Like phone companies, something has happened to the batteries, and especially now you just can't buy them and replace them, and so it's you got to send it off
the whole phone or whatever. Yeah. So, but hers, we didn't have to buy a phone for her though. We just added her. Switched her. I had her on helium. Should have just left her over there probably, but brought her over to AT&T with my old phone, and we were told, oh, it's gonna be like 140, 130, 140 a month or something for the 3 of you. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. 3 lines, 2 of them brand new phones. We get our first bill, or get the notification on the app. $400 fucking dollars, man. $400 for 1 month of service, and I literally we had a group chat with the guy, because when we're trying to coordinate me getting home and meeting up with the guy, and I was like, hey Nate, what the hell is this? Like, you said there's gonna be this much per month. I understand probably like there's some, a lot of times how it is, you get your new phone and your first bill might be a little bit higher, but I'm like, $400 though? He's like, send me your PDF of your bill and let me look over it and see what if I can figure out what's going on. But okay. Send it to him, and then he calls me a day later basically saying that, well, yeah, you're supposed to be getting all these different credits and whatever that they didn't add onto your account, and that's why your bill is so high that month, but it's going to go down because you got all the activation, whatever, and so it's going to go down, but you're going to have a lot of credits. So he told me you're after this, you're probably going to have 1 month without a bill, like you're going to have a negative balance. I said, okay, well, I wouldn't complain about that. So I said, okay, that's cool. That's fine. We can deal with that. But then, second bill, $225. So again, hey Nate, I mean it's not 400, so I'm grateful about that. But
once this negative kick in,
yeah, it was like I was looking forward to maybe a month without a bill. I was like, so what happened there? Completely ghosted me. Haven't heard shit. So since then, I've got my older daughter. So we had him sign her up too, like bring her own device and bring her onto AT&T. And like 1 month of service was 1 line for her. We had to get her a new number because after when we realized like last week or the week before that she was her phone line was suspended because she's still trying to actively find a job since we moved up here because the area we live in, I guess, there's a lot of places that say they're hired, but they don't call you or whatever. But she doesn't have money to pay the bill, and her 1 line for 30 days, she got a bill for like $130. And we didn't know this till she was suspended, and I was like, $130 just for you? I was like, wow, that's freaking outrageous. And she's like, yeah, I know, I can't afford that. You know, on the child support I get for Bubba. And I was like, yeah. So I got her back with helium for $15, but you can't transfer, port a number out if it's suspended because of non-payment. So we would have had to pay AT&T $130 to activate her line again to get her number. And I said, Allie, how badly do you want your number? Because I was like, we'll have to pay $130 to keep it, or I get to pay $15 with helium for you right now, and you're active. We just have to port your number. She goes, I'm fine with getting a new number. I said, cool. That's awesome. But so we transfer her out. That's one less AT&T line. And I've since done the T-Mobile tower, the internet tower that you can get. It's like 5G, whatever. Got the tower, and we no longer active AT&T internet users, and tried to port us out to T-Mobile as far as our phones, but was told that we're locked in. So I was like, crap. So I was like, we're stuck right now, but I've done everything I can to try to drop their service as much as possible, because I'm like, you guys, everything you told us price-wise, none of it happened.
It's so weird that the people who sell you stuff can lie to you about it.
Yep.
I used to use, so I'm a diabetic. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I used to use a thing called Dexcom. It would basically have a constant blood sugar check for you. And then, so I was using them, but you had to go through a different type of, like a supplier. There was a middleman that you had to go through. Didn't get them just right from Dexcom. I was supposed to be getting an insulin pump from them and stuff like that. And then, so I get a call from them, and I talk to this lady, and she's like, yeah, this, and this. I'm like, okay. And so she tells me what the prices is going to be, what I'm supposed to get. Even, we sign up a thing of what I'm going to get with each delivery they send me, right? Well, one, they didn't send me everything I needed. And then two, I had to actually go through about getting other stuff that I needed, like alcohol, little wipes, and then plus the little thing that helps, the little meter or the little needle thing that sticks into your skin, that will stick to your body anyways. And then for some reason
for your insulin or whatever it is.
Well, basically what it is it's got a little sensor. It has a needle that goes into you, and then it sticks like a plastic thing that just basically gets you continuously blood. Yeah.
24/7 alerts your phone or whatever. Gotcha, yeah.
And so, and then basically they was charging $50 extra. Or they was charging $50, like even when I wasn't, I forget how it was. And then I call the service and I'm like, hey, I talked to one lady. She's nice. I'm telling her my issues. And then, she's like, okay, well, let me get you to somebody else. And then, cause I try to take notes when I talk to people. Like I'm taking notes right now, what we're talking about.
I got you.
And so, and then she sends me out to somebody else, and this woman is just horrible. And I was like, look, this is the deal. Whenever I talked to the sales lady, she told me this, and this, and then she said, this is what it's going to be. And she goes, well, I don't care what they told you. This is what it is. It pissed me off so bad. I said, you know what? You cancel. I don't want anything else from y'all. I don't want to do business with you anymore. And what's so bad, too, because of the way she did that, she actually lost that company money because insulin pumps are like $10,000. And I was about to get me an insulin pump plus all the supplies. So because of that, she literally cost that company, depending on how long I stayed, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because you got to think, she's getting an insulin pump, getting Dexcom. So if we're paying $300, $400 a month in supplies, and me being a diabetic, I could have been a lifetime user of it. So, I mean, you're looking at that. So she just cost that company because she sucks at being a customer service rep. Because, I mean, there's always ways to do it. Instead of saying, I don't care, this is what she could have been like, well, sir, I do apologize for that. You know, I wasn't there, so I really, I don't know, and I'm not saying
Especially
that
if
that's
you're
not
not
what they
like,
said, but you
if
know.
you were yelling at her or something, you know.
Yeah.
That,
Oh, after that happened, man, it made me so mad. I was like, yeah, I wasn't
yeah,
cussing at her
but after
because
that
you know
point,
I
but
believe,
like if you were
yeah,
doing it beforehand, then there's no reason why she should have spoken like that. Just
yep.
when you said like she was like, I don't care. I'm, oh shit.
Yeah, because I was like, look, this is what she told me. This is what we're getting billed. This is what she said it was going to be. Because I even had the emails and stuff, right?
Yeah, documentation. Yep.
And she said, I don't care. This is what it is. You know, I don't. If she said, I don't care what she told you. So basically, it's kind of like the thing that pissed me off so bad was that she's saying that we're a company. I wish I could remember what company that Dexcom goes through to send their material. But anyways, she's basically saying, from what I got out of it, is the salespeople are going to lie to you, get you into something thinking it's something different, kind of like with the phone companies. Phone companies tell you all this good stuff. You get your first bill, you're like, hold up. Hold up. And it happens every time. For some reason with phone companies, if they tell you one thing, your first two deals are going to be outrageous and it pisses everybody off. But then you're stuck in a contract. What can you do? I wasn't in a contract, thank God. And so I was able to just to say, hey, look, you know what? Y'all don't ever contact me ever again. I don't want nothing to do with you. And so basically, because their customer service was saying, look, you know, this is the way it's going to be. You can either take it or leave it. And so I left it. Because, yeah, you can't lie to people to get them into something and then mistreat them, especially when it does to health. So like, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I gotta have insulin. My pancreas don't create insulin. I have to have insulin. And then I need it,
Especially
you
when
know,
the bills
having
look
an
up.
insulin pump.
You know.
Yeah. Oh, dude, insulin has been outrageous. I've heard that they've been dropping the prices, but I don't know if they have or not. But like at the beginning of the year, because we got to pay full out of pocket until a certain amount, and then the insurance starts paying for it. But you're looking at a month. You're looking at the first month supply of insulin is at one point was like 2,400, and then when we'd go the second time, it'd be like 1,700, and then it'd keep going down to where we was finally just to the deposit, like the deductible, and then it's free. So we're normally out of pocket within the first 3-4 months of the year,
Yeah.
and so
Like
it just
that's part of, you know, as far as like prices go, that's kind of why I actually like T-Mobile for a phone provider over AT&T, because we've had them before, and it was like 4 lines for like $160 or something per month, and it was that much every month. Like they didn't, none of this going up and going down. 1 month you're paying $250, 1 month you're paying $175, and so with them it was like 160 pretty much all the time. But AT&T, even especially with their internet, like my wife, up until the point when I think we got our T-Mobile tower set up like 2 weeks ago, I think. Because I was looking for a way to get away from AT&T. I was like, look, like, because my wife, when she said I think the AT&T was on in her name, and so she was taking care of that. And the last like 6 or 8 months, you know, paying the bill, she literally every time she paid it, be like, I don't understand why it's $125. It's supposed to be like $75. You know, like why is it? And I'm like, I don't know, because they tell you it's a certain price until a certain point, and then they jack it up. You know, so like it was always she's paying every month and complaining about it. And now that now that the T-Mobile tower, literally I got the first. It was like a couple of days after we got it set up, I got the first bill on the app. Not, you know, it's not due until like the 12th or something of November, but it was like $66. I showed her that, and how's that look? She was, that's awesome. I said, yep, and it's probably not going to go up either, because it's, you know, it's unlimited, you know. But it's like, I just wish, you know, people in general, just or salesmen in general, would actually like, especially like that's why AT&T is horrible. You know, like I like their good phone coverage. I mean, yeah, they have good internet and stuff, but it's like that's why I would never go back to Xfinity, because we had the same problem with them. You know, you have that guaranteed bill for so many months, and then with it, I think it was Do they still go by Comcast, or are they just Xfinity now?
I think there's still Comcast maybe, but I thought it was Comcast Xfinity, but it's probably just Xfinity. I know on the app it's Xfinity. You know, we had AT&T internet one time, and we had internet service with them. Internet service sucked. We had an issue with the modem. Went back to another modem. It was just all these different issues with it, with the modem or just internet. I don't know, but it took forever for us to try to get customer service for them. We'd be trying to talk to people. We'd be on hold, everything else, and like it was just. It took forever to try to talk to people. And then my wife finally said, you know what, I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of all this. We just want to cancel the service. They got us over to somebody immediately, and our service was canceled like that. I was like, so they had, like, it took them less time to cancel our service than the effort. Like, they didn't even put in much effort of trying to help us. Like, we'd be on hold, just couldn't get anybody to talk to. I mean, it was just nuts with the amount of effort that them people put in. But as soon as we said, you know what, we just want to cancel, it was like, okay, bye. And then we ended up going to Bright House in that area. And Bright House was the best internet service we ever had. No complaints. They were amazing. Oh, I wish they was in the same area we are now. But the area we're in now, the only two internet service providers are AT&T and Comcast. And so we went with Comcast because we ain't going back to AT&T. No way. And the bad thing about Comcast is their customer service. They teach either they teach their customer service to be buttholes to everybody, or they just don't care how their customer service talk to their customers.
Yeah, because with them, we like by the time we left Comcast, I think our bill had gone from like it's supposed to be like $100 a month. I think we had internet, TV, and phone with them, so it was like $120, $130. You know, because this is back when when we still had the home phone line, you know, on the wall, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good.
So much rotary phone, right?
Yeah, no, this is like this. I think we had the cordless, you know, but it was still, you know, but
20-foot long.
We didn't really use it very much because we had our cell phones, but we had the home phone that we give to like businesses or whatever, and it had the digital voicemail or whatever that they could leave a voice message and we could check our home phone. That way we weren't always having to like have random calls on our cells. But by the time we left, our bill was like $350, and we didn't know why it was up that high. And I was over the road, so like of course, we take care of the bills. You know, the service would temporarily go suspended because of course I'd be out there and I wouldn't realize, you know, until the wife would text me like, oh shit, internet and cable are down. Oh crap, okay, let me call them and so like I'd call them to do like use my card to pay over the phone, and they're like, oh yeah, your account's been flagged, it's a cash only account. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, we can't take it over the phone payment, and it has to be cash only. I'm like, I literally have a credit card or a debit card, whatever. I could literally give you a card, pay it right now. Like, why can't I pay the bill right now? Well, so you need to come into our office. I'm like, ma'am, I'm in Georgia. Like, I'm not anywhere near Nashville right now. I was like, what do you want us to do? Like, yeah, well, there's nothing we can do, unfortunately. Like, you have to come into the office. I'm like, so I think my wife came in there expecting that she could pay with the card in person. They still wouldn't take the card payment in person. They told her that she needed to go to an ATM and get cash and come back and pay the bill. And she called me telling me this crying, and I said, "Tell them fuck you. Like we're going to AT&T. We'll just switch. This is too much work. Like I don't understand why they're being such assholes about it. I was like, we can literally pay them with a card. It's the same thing as us paying cash or whatever. I can understand not letting us do the check. Like pay like electronic check, like not let us do that, but trying to pay you with a card, it's going to take it out immediately. Like, why not? So we left them, and then talking about like bad internet providers. I mean, we had Earthlink, because they were a provider down there in Nashville too. They were It's kind of like how you talked about with your provider that you said was the best one you've ever had. Earthleak was awesome,
Mm-hmm.
but it got to a point like we didn't have a problem with the customer service and the internet itself was awesome, and it was set every month. It was $100. It was like $99 a month for like 1 gig speeds or whatever. We had them for a while, and then something happened to our modem. All of a sudden, like half our devices wouldn't connect to wouldn't connect, like including like computers, like laptops and some of our like the phones and whatnot. We couldn't get it to connect to the network. We put in all the correct information and it wouldn't connect. So we're calling them going, hey guys, I was simply saying, can you send somebody out here? I think they were using the AT&T lines or something, but I was like, can you guys send somebody out here to check because like we can't get, it's only half working. Oh, well, have you tried this? Yes, we did. Like, if you shut it off and did it, yes, we did that. Because I called multiple times. Well, sir, you need to shut it off. You need to do this, that. I'm going to send a signal out to it. Oh, yeah, I'm not getting any response from your modem. Can you do something? Ma'am, I've already done this 30 times. We need a technician out here. Well, sir, unfortunately, like you have to go through all the steps first. Oh, I did that. And I hated leaving because I love the company, but it got to a point where finally I was like, all right, well then, ma'am, we're going to be switching to another provider because, like, we're paying and we can't seem to connect to the modem, and you're refusing to send a technician out here to see what the problem is. I was like, I think the modem is bad. I think you need to replace the device, and everything that we've tried doesn't work. You guys can't connect to it, and you're telling us we still need to do such and such. I'm like, we've already done that. Like, why aren't you coming out? Why won't you guys help us figure this out? Because it's your device. But, oh, sir, well, you need to, go through all this and that, blah, blah, blah. I got frustrated to the point I said, all right, that's fine. Ma'am, I appreciate everything you guys have done over the past year and a half we've had service with you, but I guess we're just going to be switching providers. Well, sir, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm like, yeah, well, if you'd send a fucking technician out here, we would stay because we need to get this device working. It's not something we're doing. It's your equipment.
Yeah.
Oh, sir, unfortunately, same spiel. And I'm like, no. We're not doing anything else. We're not going through any more steps. Like, obviously, there's something defective about your equipment that we have here. It needs to be replaced, whatever. Maybe it's outdated. I don't know. But, why are you – this is, like, schedule an appointment, send a guy out here, check it, see if there's something that needs to change, update settings in there or something. Because it was simple stuff like, hey, just unplug it, plug it back in, and do this and that. It was little stuff that didn't take that long to do, but we'd already done it like 20 times. And me and my wife were frustrated because, we both.
You know why they make you do that, even if you say that you did it, right? It's people lie. And so it's funny because it's like I used to work for Apple. And then the thing is you got to run through the spiel. Okay, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you tried this? And a lot of like, yes, I've tried it, and they're frustrated and they're aggravated. And so like you can, what we call like a hard reset or a refresh of your phone, like an iPhone, instead of just turning your iPhone off, you push different buttons and it basically shuts it down. Keep holding it, and then a little apple will pop up, and then you let go of your buttons, and then it kind of refreshes your phone. Some people call it a hard reset. Some people call it resetting. But basically what people have done is they'll just turn their phone off and turn it back on. And then but then also too, a lot of people lie. Like, you go to the dentist, especially like my kid. I asked my kid the other day, did you brush teeth? Yeah. I'm like, okay, let me smell. Can I go to the bathroom first? I'm like, no, why you need to go to the bathroom first? And so, man, she's a trip. Yeah. And so people lie. And so the thing is sometimes people, and that's why they make you redo it. But I understand too, because the thing is most of these companies, they try to get as less traffic through their customer service lines as possible. So they give you all this data. Like the thing about Apple charges you to call them. So if you don't have Apple Pay, if you call them and they find out that the issue is not hardware related or related to your iTunes account, they charge you. So, and the reason they do is because they give you all the information that is needed to help you with your issue, except for hardware issues, because that's either A, defective, got to be replaced, or it's old and it needs to be replaced. And you can't do that. You have to send that in. They have to fix it. Or with your iTunes account, they're making money. That's a service that only they can really do. Like if you went through the steps of trying to reset your password, and then you get locked out of your account, you have to call in. They help you, but they do that for free, you know. But if you want me to teach you how to install iTunes on your computer, you got to pay them $40. I think it was $39.99. Could have been $29.99. I forget. Or if you want me to help you with, like, because all it is most of them are articles and they had numbers to them. And so I had like just a quick folder or file, because they sent me a MacBook or whatever it was. And so I would take and I just had the common stuff that would go through. Like, okay, this is that article. I'd already have the website. I would bam, do the search, A105 or whatever it is, the numbers, I forget what they were. And then boom, I just go through the steps. Some stuff you do so much, and some stuff you do so much you just remember by heart. But I guess that's their thing. We'll give you good customer service. We'll basically, but for us to do your Googling for you, you got to pay us. That's basically what Apple says. That's the only way. We got all this information that you can search and go find on your own. But if you don't want to do it and you want somebody else to do it for you, that's what we do. So basically all we did is we go to the same page that anybody can look up. But a lot of times if I could help them within like the first 3 to 5 minutes, I would never charge them. Like I never really charged a lot of people. One, because I felt bad about doing it. But then two, I could normally get people in and out of the conversation, and then it wouldn't even, it was just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. The other people I worked with is why I quit the job, dude. Man, the employees suck, man. Everybody was trying to get me in trouble. I don't know why. I was always getting called in for stuff. Like, they listen to your conversations. And I remember one woman said, because it's got a thing, like, if your phone is hot to the touch, don't touch it, yada, yada, yada. And I said, okay, well, is your phone? And she goes, no, it's just warm. Not hot for me to touch. And so I was like, well, okay, if it's warm, we went ahead and went through the thing, got the problem solved, everything was done. All right. Well, then, because I didn't immediately shift the phone call off, because at first she said it was hot, and I tried to say, okay, describe the hot. Is it just warm? Well, if it's just warm, any kind of product that runs is going to get warm. Your Xbox, your TV, your phone, everything's going to get warm if you use it long enough. If it's not hot to the touch, if it's not burning you, then that's not the issue. And then so I got wrote up for that, had to have a call with my supervisor. They found out I didn't do anything wrong. And then, man, it was just the tier up people were a pain in the butt, because they didn't have to work really unless you ship something off to them, because they tell them, well, here, so you got a tier 1 and a tier 2. Your tier 1, if you got to ship them, say, well, here, you know what, let me hand you off to my supervisor real quick. Or I forget, it was another, instead of just saying the tier 2, and then there were different things that you'd have to hand them off for. Well, I couldn't get, because you're supposed to be able to get somebody to agree with this situation that you're talking through. And basically we were just running in circles one time. I couldn't get an understanding of what they were trying to talk about. And so I sent them to a tier 2. I said, can you hold on 1 second? I'm going to talk to the supervisor real quick, and I'm going to come talk to you. I can't remember team lead. I forget what we called it. And then, I was like, hey, we can't get an understanding. I've tried for X amount of times. I did all this to that. The next point is to ship them off to a tier 2. And so the dude got mad that I did that, and he sent it off to my team lead, my real supervisor. And I had to have another conversation with her. Man, it got so bad, dude. The job was just, too stressful, because I was always getting in trouble. And then I had to have these meetings with people, and then it come to find out that I didn't do anything wrong. And see, they put you on blast. They send out emails to people about like, hey, we got to have a conversation for something. But then they don't resend the email saying, oh, well, no, he didn't do anything bad. You know, so I got all these emails out there in the world like, hey, Barry done messed up. We got to have another meeting. But then they don't send a meeting back saying, hey, the other person messed up trying to get what's his face in trouble, you know? Oh, man.
Hell, I
Hey,
think,
man.
I think I worked for, I think it was through a temp job technically, but I got hired with Capital One Auto Finance, you know, taking the calls, like getting people pre-approved and whatnot. And I think I was there for like 2 weeks. Like, that short amount of time, I was loving it. I thought, oh, this job is awesome. It was one of those where you just feel like you find your call, oh man, this is great. Like the shifts fly by, and like I'm helping people on the phone or whatever, you know. And then one morning I went to get up, you know, was getting ready for work or whatever to come in because I think I started like 8 or something. So I was up at like 6:37, getting ready for work, and I got a phone call, basically telling me that I was told that some random woman at the call center said that I sexually harassed her, and I was like, what? I didn't even talk to anybody. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I would basically go to work, I would come to the break room, eat up my food, you know, take my lunch for a break, whatever, go back to the cubicle, and I never socialized with anybody. And yet, somebody reported me and said that I made like sexual advances on them. And I'm going, who? How did I don't even know any females at work because like I've never like I'm not there to make friends, I'm there to make money or whatever. So like can I like fight this? Like can I dispute this because like I didn't do anything? Like she's like, well no, unfortunately like they've already terminated your position and you know because of it, unfortunately like at the temp agency, like, because of the way that you were let go, like we can't actually like your position here has been terminated as well. And I'm like, but I didn't do anything. Like so I was like, oh, so I've lost not only the actual job, but I've lost my spot with the temp agency. Okay. So I was like, well, shit. So I was like, well, I guess probably, I mean, maybe I probably was a blessing in disguise, you know, because if there's somebody like that, or maybe I don't even know if somebody tried to like come on to me, but because I was married and I was just there working, I didn't respond to them or something, and maybe they got pissed, and so they were like, oh yeah, you know, and they try to turn it around instead of because you know ignore their advance or something, they make a complaint about you trying to like get you in trouble because they out of retaliate. I don't know if that happened because I don't honestly remember. But
yeah, man, there's no telling because. Well, man, I had a situation when I was working for Apple. I'm from Alabama. I'm in Michigan now, but I was talking to a lady and she knew my accent, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'm from Alabama," and that was after we was talking for a little bit because I was helping her with a problem, and then she's like, "You Auburn or Alabama?" And I'm like, "Roll Tide," and she goes, "Oh, so you support rape and rapists, huh?" I'm like, "What?" And apparently there was allegations, you know, that a football player had did something like that, which I didn't know because I moved up here and we don't have cable or anything to be able to watch football. I don't even keep up with it anymore, really. I mean, if it's on at somebody else's house, I'd definitely watch it. But people are crazy, man. Like, I like a football team, but because I like a sport and a football team, I'm okay with something that somebody done that is deplorable, despicable, you know, one of the most heinous crimes that's out there. Yeah, no. And I didn't know what to say after that point, so I just kind of was quiet, and then we got done with the thing, and I was like, well, you have a good day, man.
Yep.
People are nuts, man. I don't know what's going on with folks, man.
And not even being given the chance to. I mean, I guess it's kind of why it's a good thing that we're, as far as the legal system here, for the most part, innocent until proven guilty, but not in all cases, because like me getting fired for something I didn't do, and you know being compared to somebody that's like, but we didn't do anything, like, or that's not us, like, what the hell, you know?
You know, me and Thame was having a conversation about this the other day because I was telling him, I was like, man, because he's like, man, you know, I don't care what strangers have to say about me. I was like, man, you know, there's a difference between being found guilty in court and also being found guilty in the public opinion. Once you're found guilty in the public's opinion, nothing else matters. You can be declared innocent all day long. All the majority of the people they're going to remember is that you were found guilty in the public eye. The public is biased, and if they want you to be guilty, you're already guilty in their eyes. And if
like
they can turn people's
tried for something
thought process,
and you're found innocent, you were already technically tried for that, and they're gonna treat you as such. Like, well, you were tried for this murder that happened. They're gonna think that, well, you might have been found innocent, but you were still you still did it though. Like,
in our eyes, we want somebody to blame.
Yep.
It's weird so much a lot of people love drama. It seems like I got a buddy who's dealing with some stuff, and it seems like the people he's dealing with, drama to some people is like a drug. They can't let go of it. They got to have more of it. If they don't have it, they got to find a way to get it. And it's crazy. Because I'm not gonna lie, I like drama every now and again, depending on how the drama is,
Yeah.
But I don't like it in big amounts, and I don't like it in like crazy drama. You know what I mean? Like, I give you an example. Say you in prison, you having little boring days or whatever, you're out on the yard, somebody gets in a fight. You're gonna watch it and be like, oh, who won, and then, wow, there's some drama, excitement, okay, walk away. Now, I'm not gonna go over there and try to stir up more drama to get it started. Some people do that, and that's the way it's kind of like, And so I guess I like drama as it occurs if I'm not in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I can see something interesting, I will, like, if I see two people arguing, I'll kind of stand there and listen depending on what it is,
Yep.
And so,
it's like, fight.
yeah. But I won't scream the fight part, you know what I'm saying? I'll just wait.
Yep.
I mind my business without minding my business.
It's like when it's like in those movies where like two chicks start fighting or whatever, and you hear cat fight.
Yeah. Well, they had a song like that. There's about to be a cat fight. Yeah, so they made a song about that. Yeah. And so, like, I won't put my 2 cents in or nothing.
Pulling each other's hair. It's not really like a fist fight. They're just like all these. I've seen some videos, I guess, where you see like one chick trying to pick a fight with another chick, and the other chick literally like elbows her in the face, knocks her down, and just starts wailing on her. I'm like, well, the first chick had it coming because she started that. So.
Yep. Did you watch that one video where that one girl was talking crap and the other girl went and got the shovel and hit her in the face with it? I was like, geez, it was big on YouTube back a couple of years, like, I guess maybe like 5-10 years ago. I can't remember to be.
I don't know if I saw that one.
Yeah, look, I would have to YouTube it, but yeah, if you get a chance, YouTube a girl get hit in the face with a shovel by another girl or something. So yeah, I'm teaching my daughter how to box. My daughter actually wants to go take boxing lessons. And that's what she's like, yeah, I've been watching girls at school and they pull hair and stuff. They don't be punching and stuff. And then, I tell her, I'm like, look, fight when you have to, walk away when you can, because I know through stuff that I've seen, been through, a lot of times they don't end like you see in movies. Somebody gets punched and then, oh no. People get hurt brutally. Nowadays, people won't take a butt whooping leave. They'll come back and kill you. And so it's like, you gotta.
Boxing is good, but like karate is pretty good too, because like I did karate when I was a kid, and only for I think I might have been like, because when my family moved from like Nebraska to like Las Vegas or whatever for a year, following my mom's job, and I did karate out there, made it to like I think a yellow belt or something. It was like 3. I think I did 3 levels. I was like third belt in before we moved back to Nebraska, and then I never did karate again. But when you think, sometimes you think how it's like might not stick with you, but then you realize it did. It's like riding a bike, kind of.
Oh yeah.
Because I And I would always tell the story to my my kids or whatever, like, yeah, like obviously like the karate moves or whatever, the self defense stuff, it stays with you. Because I said I had this one kid in high school that came at me, like we were on the stage or whatever, in the gym. Like we had to, when you do like random stuff like sit-ups, push-ups,
Mm-hmm.
or and he came at me, and for what out of the blue, just like he's about the same size as I was, but he came at me and randomly try to like throw a punch at me or something and try to like mess with me, and I finally I was like, dude, fuck off, like get away from me. Then he kept coming at me, and then he came at me and he threw a punch, and I don't even remember ducking, away from the punch and counter swing. I just remember I remember his swing, and next thing I realized he's on his back sliding across the wooden floor, like slid like 10 feet away, and I was standing like, oh shit, did I just do that?
Well, man, you know what it is if you do this stuff long enough, it's kind of like riding a bike. Everybody says, it's like riding a bike. You just hop back on and get on. Well, see, if you've ever done that, when you get on and ride a bike, yeah, you can remember, you pedal, you'll stay up on stuff, but you're not as fluid as what you used to, where you could do the little wheelie, slam on the front brake to where the back one kicks around and spin. You can't do all that when you first get back. You got to get back into it, but you still remember how to get on and pedal. That same thing with martial arts. If you do it long enough, you still remember the rhythms of pedaling and steering and moving. And so,
So my youngest, like she's now 17, but I don't remember, because we were in Nashville for like 10 years, but it was in Philly, so she's probably like 7, 6 or 7, 5, 6 or 7 when we had her in karate for a little while up there in Philly, and she told me, I think it was like last year, about halfway through the year, she was I guess it was like the beginning part of her school day, and she told me about it afterwards. She was like, hey, Dad, like this happened. I was in a fight at school. I'm like, oh shit, did you get in trouble? Are you okay? Like, what's going on? He goes, you know how you told me that about that one kid that you knocked down and didn't even realize what you did? She goes, I was like, yeah. She's like, I kind of had that experience. This one kid randomly just came at her and tried to like throw a punch at her, and she basically said she knocked him flat on his ass and didn't even realize that she did it. Didn't even mean to do it. I just started laughing. I said, you're not even in trouble.
Yeah. What made me start really teaching mine is she's in 4th now. I can't remember if it was in 2nd or 3rd grade, but maybe it's probably 2nd grade. There was kids picking up sticks and basically hitting other kids with sticks at the school. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Hey, I'm about to teach you how to defend yourself. And so got her doing that. And of course, by that time, they quit doing it because out at their PE time, they don't have PE teachers. Like back in the day, we had PE teachers. They have parents that volunteer to go out there and watch over the kids. But most of them are just playing on their cell phones and stuff. They're just really paying attention to their kids. And so, man, kids get into so many fights at this school. And what's so bad is this is supposed to be a good school that she's in, you know what I mean? Come to find out, this year she's in the worst class of the whole school. Her fourth grade class, one she's in, has got the worst students that get in more trouble in fights than anybody else. It's nuts. Well, she had one day, she was out there at the PE or whatever, and then she had this one little boy that kept poking her and then tried to throw a shoulder into her. And she was like, you need to stop that. And so he went to go do it again, and she punched him in the face. And he kind of stepped back, and then he went to do it again, and she punched him in the face again. And then the lady that was there waited till my daughter hit him twice before she was like, hey, y'all need to cut that out, separate, and go somewhere else.
And then, you're in detention because you assaulted him.
Well, no, nothing happened. Well, she just split them up, and that was all there was. And I'm like, but why wait? If that's me, if I'd have saw somebody throw a shoulder into somebody, like if they're sitting there poking them, aggravating, and they throw a shoulder into them, like I'm like, hey man, you need to cut that out. Come on, let's go do something else.
And the sad part is, I could totally see something like that happening and her getting in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Because even though she was technically defending herself, well, you hit him, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, but he was elbowing me and doing this, and I was telling him to stop. It's like that. I don't know what movie it is, but it has like I think it's like Jason Statham, the guy that he does like the
Jason Statham.
transporter. Yeah,
Yeah,
it shows
Jason
him as like a
Statham.
dad. Yeah, and so it's like he's got his daughter in school, and I guess is a kid that's bullying her. Like he taught her to fight or whatever, but like I guess this kid came and stole her hat or something, and she's like, "Give it back." You know, like she told him twice, but she told him then, you know, like I told you twice, like give it back, and then he tried to like mess with her, and she literally like broke his arm and broke his nose and knocked him down, and of course they're blaming her, like your daughter is out of control, whatever, and he's like, well, what did the other kid do? You know, like what? He's like, it doesn't matter. Like she broke his arm and like completely. And so he's walking out with her, like, you know, I'm proud. He actually told her, I'm proud of you. Like, you're not even in trouble, you know. Because she's like, yeah, I told him twice, like he told me. And then, like, the parents trying to, like, pick a fight with him in the parking lot. Like, one of those couples, I guess, where the girlfriend or the wife or mom or whatever was telling the dad, hey, you need to kick his ass, man. He's blah, blah, blah. And, of course, the guy tried to, you know, was trying to pick a fight with Jason Statham or whatever, and the sheriff is right there trying to basically break him up and tell him, like, hey, you need to step back, like, you know, and the guy tries to come over and grab him and basically ends up breaking his hand and whatever, too, and then, you know, it's like, dude,
like father, like son.
I'm trying to walk away, and you're coming at me and trying to grab me. It's like, dude, don't put your hand on me, you know, don't, like...
Yep.
But I mean,
I got to
you got
have a proud moment for my kid. In a fight stance she had not too long ago. And it's so weird, kids picking up sticks. I remember we used to pick up sticks back in the day, but we did sword fights. But she was up right down the road. She has a friend, not gonna say her name, right down the street, like 2-3 houses down. No, 4. Say 4. Right from ours on the same street and everything else. She went down there, they were playing, and then her friend grabbed water hose. My daughter said, hey, don't squirt me. And she squirted my daughter. So my daughter took the water hose, started squirting her with it. She gets mad, picks up a stick, hits my daughter. My daughter then takes the stick from her and then hits her with it. Then once she's done hitting her, she throws the stick over the fence. That way nobody will have the stick anymore. If another fight pursues, it'll just be fists. If she don't want to get hit with a stick, she don't want to hit nobody with a stick. And she said, I'm leaving. And the girl said, no, you're not. And she blocked the way, going back to our house with the water hose and was trying to start another fight, basically, right? And so my daughter, she goes, my daughter just walks the opposite way and then hits up another street and just makes a big circle to go back to our house. I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the meaning of fight when you have to, walk away when you can. Somebody's hitting you with a stick, take the stick away and start hitting them with it. If you can get away, get away. But so I gotta have a good I'm proud of you moment for that. And it's weird though too. They was no longer friends or anything. And then we had a trunk or treat last Saturday, not the Saturday just passed, but the Saturday before. And then they just made up, didn't even talk about nothing. They just went with their best friends again. So it's so weird.
Yeah, you know, with like after dealing with that guy that I knocked, I made him slide across the stage. I had another friend that was like 3 times my size. I mean, I was a small kid. I was like probably like 120, 140, you know. Whereas I'm like 350 now. But
yeah,
you know, married to a chef, you know, I have my excuses, you know. But I had this guy that was probably like 300 pounds, and you know, like we got along pretty good. But then I don't know what I did to him, because all of a sudden he was literally threatening to kill me in high school. Like,
man,
I'm gonna shove your head through your windshield and blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, what the fuck did I do? What the hell, man?
Did you take his girlfriend?
I don't know, because I mean, I probably had a few girlfriends in high school, but I didn't really date a whole lot. But you know, person like my brother was well known all around town pretty much. But I don't know what I did to the guy, if like he thought I said something about him or something. But like for probably at least two or 3 months, every time he saw me, he did that motion with your finger right by your throat,
Yeah.
and basically told me, I'm going to shove your head through your windshield, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to fucking blah, blah, blah. And I'm scared shitless at that point, and I'm like a small kid, it's like, playing soccer and stuff like that, so I wasn't like weak, but I wasn't like huge like him, because I think he probably lifted weights and all that stuff. But I went to the office and basically talked to the principal and the staff and basically said, like, I'm afraid for my life. Like, I don't know what I did to piss him off, but he's threatening to kill me. Where I parked was kind of like, it wasn't in the main student parking lot. It was like, we had this street that you'd go down, because, it's kind of a country town a little bit. But we had the street that you'd go down to get to the school, the high school, and you could park along the curb before you got to the school. Like, you could park along that street, and that's where I parked, because I didn't want to park, around all the other cars. A couple of us parked out there. But it was pretty isolated, so I was worried about getting to my car and having him just wait there for me. So the principal basically like had teachers actually like escort me to my car for months to make sure that nobody was trying to lie and wait for me or whatever, And then all of a sudden, like, because nothing ever happened, and then like later that year or whatever, and then the rest of high school, like all of a sudden we were hanging out again and things are cool, and I'm still like, I don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like you were pissed at me, threatening to kill me, whatever, and then all of a sudden we're hanging out, we're buds, and it's like, okay. I mean, and we haven't talked since high school, but it's like as big as he is, man, I was totally sure that if it was somebody my size, I'd be like, whatever, dude, you're not gonna kill me, fuck off, But this guy was like, I took his threat serious. I was like, teachers, can you please help? Because this guy's threatening my life, and I don't want to die. Like,
I learned from an early age that size really don't matter, or sometimes size can hurt you, depending on the situation, and not to run your mouth. I remember we had a big old backyard growing up as a kid, and we would play football in it with all the neighborhood kids, right?
Yep.
And I was always strong. I mean, I worked out growing up from a kid. I was always, like when I was in middle school, I was bench pressing 275. I was just strong. And so, I'm trying to remember what grade I was in. It wasn't in high school yet, but, there was a little Asian kid there, and they were losing or something. And then, so I started making mama jokes. I started talking about his mama. I didn't know his mama. I only knew him.
Man.
And, I started talking about his mama, right? And I turned I turned away from it because, some people got to walk the field to get back to the other side. I turned my back. Next thing I know, I got hit in the head from behind, and this dude's sitting there waylaying on me. I'm able to turn around, and then I go to fight him. He runs off a little bit, and I start chasing him. And as I'm trying to chase him, he's faster than me. He stops. So a couple more licks in, I'm like, hold up. I'm not, and he runs again, and I take off. So I'm chasing this dude, and every time we stop, he's hitting me. Finally, I stop. I'm like, man, I'm not running to take a butt whooping to these. I'm not running to get hit in the face no more. And so
basically, you were catching him only to get hit.
I was basically chasing him to get hit some more. That's basically what it was. I don't even think I got a punch on him. It was me, and he wouldn't run like, it wasn't a super far run. Like, he'd probably run 20, 30 feet, catch him, and I was a bigger guy, so I was kind of winded already. And then, bam, and he'd take off running again. I'm holding it because when you get hit, you get mad if it's not one that really hurts you like bad. I mean, that hurt, but if it don't knock you out, don't break a teeth or something, and it gets you mad, and then you got everybody, oh, you gonna let him hit you like that? And so it's, man. And so I'm getting mad and just chasing him, and he's just, run away, and yeah, at some point, I think it stopped in Miss Davis's yard. She had a pear tree we used to go and take pear from. So now that I'm older, I knew we probably shouldn't have been stealing her pears. Now that I think about that, yeah, in her backyard, she had a pear tree. We would go and take pears from. She's a sweet old lady, though. We'd go to her house every now and again. She'd give us candy. I'm glad it didn't turn out to be Hansel and Gretel.
Didn't end up anybody's pie, so that's good.
Yeah. And I learned then, man, don't talk about people's mama unless you're really ready to fight. I was just, I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was trying to show off in front of people, and then I showed off that I could take a butt whooping pretty good.
You chased him, he hit you. Like, are you gonna let him do that to you? Oh,
no. He had a good strategy though.
Man, go get him. Oh, yeah.
Because if I would have got my hands on him though, I believe if I'd have got my hands on him, I'd have slammed him on the ground, got on top of him, and started hitting him. So he had a strategy. Make sure I wasn't able to put any hands on him. I didn't even get to hit him with a punch.
Yeah, you get a couple. Basically, you catch up to him. He gets a couple of good hits and then takes off again.
Me and him was playing baseball, and I was catching all his hands with my face. That's basically what happened.
Oh yeah, man.
Man, so many memories.
Yep.
I remember I got kicked.
I wasn't really a big fighter in high school. There was only those couple of occasions.
I didn't get any fights in high school. All my fights happened in elementary school. And one time, I did get in one fight in high school. Yeah, I did because dude was talking about my girlfriend. And then we had issues with the football coach. They wanted me to do running and stuff. Yeah, I do. So I got one fight in high school, but most of my fights was in elementary. I got kicked out of Dreamland skating rink. They got tired of my crap. I got in fights there. And then I don't know why I did it as elementary school. I would go by the payphone. I would dial 911 and hang up, and I'd walk into the cafeteria because the cafeteria was right by the payphone. And you walk back down, and there'd be lockers, and if you pass the lockers, there would be where you could get the skates. And so, so basically, I would walk past the lockers or whatever. 911, bam, go into the cafeteria and just sit down and just wait, and I would keep doing that. Well, apparently, 911 works without putting a quarter in for a payphone. And after doing it multiple times, the DJ guy, I guess the cops called him and said, hey, we're having somebody doing a hang up. They caught me, brought me in the booth, and was like, you're going to jail. I think I was in 4th grade when I was doing this. Because I remember 4th grade was when I got in the fight at the skating ring. And man, they had me crying. I'm thinking I'm going to prison. I'm sitting there crying in the booth. And then they was like, well, okay, look, you're not going to jail, but you can't do it no more, okay? And if you do, you will go to jail. But we're going to let you go this time. And there wasn't even any cops there. It was the DJ guy, right? He was in there making this little 4th, 5th grader. I think I was in the 4th grade. And I had this little 4th grader crying, thinking he's going to jail.
Scare tactic.
Yeah. And, bro, I didn't do it no more.
Yeah, I think when I was about that same age, I was around the time we lived in Vegas for the year. And I was taking, like, BB guns or something, and I was shooting these paint cans, like the spray paint cans or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I was doing it. I look back now, I don't know why I did half the stuff I did, But I was like, I shot the paint can and this fucking exploded. And it not like wasn't like any like fire or anything, it just the whole can just and my whole leg got covered in this purple paint. And of course, like I get my dad like, oh hey dad, this happened, blah blah blah. He did scare tactics with me, he said, oh we have to burn it off. Wow. I started crying, no. I was like, oh no, I'm just kidding. Don't tell your mom.
That's
like,
funny.
well, if I don't have to get my leg burned off, I guess I'll be okay.
Yep. Yeah, I remember back when I was younger, we get a splinter or something in our finger, and they'd be, oh, I got to cut your finger off now. Pull out his knife.
Gotta amputate. No.
Yep. It's weird. I do that same thing to my daughter now, just playing with her. So no, I can get it out by myself. Like, you sure? I can make it real quick.
I won't even get the serrated. I'll get the
Yep.
Get
I won't even
sharp.
charge you a doctor's bill either. I'll do it for free. So many memories.
See,
I've
when I
been
do that
playing
with my
Super
kids, whatever,
Tecmo
they just
Bowl.
look at me. It's like, oh, such and such happened. Oh, that my leg hurts or whatever. I'd be like, oh, I can imitate for it. And my 17-year-old was like, Dad, come on.
Yeah.
Now,
did you ever play any Nintendo back in the day?
I did. I remember.
Did you ever play Super Tecmo Bowl?
No, I don't think I did that one. Was that what system was that?
It was regular
Original,
Nintendo. Regular Nintendo. It was regular Nintendo. Man, I'm trying. I think it was the Oakland Raiders. We always choose Oakland Raiders. It was I think it was Bo Jackson and was it Marcus Allen or I can't remember. But man, anytime you played that team, run the ball, either one would just score. I'm thinking about memories, and that's one thing I remember is we fighting over who got to be the Oakland Raiders.
Oh yeah. So I didn't do a whole lot with the original one because of I remember us having it, but I was young. Cause I'm born in '83, so like I had a little bit where we had the original one, but I remember I had the Sega, and then we had like the Super Nintendo, and then we got the I don't remember if I don't know if we got the N64 when I was a kid or not, but I know with my ex-wife when I went to like GameStop or something, I bought an N64. And that's my favorite. That's honestly my favorite system is the N64.
Really?
Yeah, like I love that one, man. As long as you get the extension cord, so that way you're not having to sit up there by the TV.
Yeah. So
plug
we had the regular one, and I remember the guy I played football with. I actually think it was his dad was the coach. We would have we'd have like a little football sleepover, like before a game or after a game or whatever. And I always loved going over there for the fact that they had like the Sega Genesis or whatever Sega that had the Mortal Kombat. And man, they knew the put in the code for make it extra bloody or gory or whatever. And man, we'd be able to play in Mortal Kombat. Man, I loved going over there for that.
Yeah. We were big on like the Mario games, like the original Mario, then Mario. I think it was especially with the 64, like Mario 64. I think my brothers did like Zelda a little bit. With the 64, I
Zelda
love
was always good.
Like 007, GoldenEye or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I love that one. You get 4 of us in there.
Yep, the multiplayer.
Actually, I think my favorite game is probably not even with any of the actual Nintendos. It was actually on the computer, Duke Nukem 3D. Like
I never played any Duke Nukem. That sucks too, because man, I heard they were good.
I don't know how good they are. Cause I've heard or I've looked online. When I'm just kind of looking up, how you can get these current versions of the older games. But I'm like, yeah, but it's not the same though. You're not unless you're using that game system and playing with the old style Nintendo 64 controller or the original PlayStation controller. You can like they got that little we technically have that the little mini Nintendo, that has the small controllers and that has all the games, like 200 games on it. We have
I
want
to get one of
I'm
them.
like, yeah, but it's not the same though. It's like small ass controller and
It's
it's not even But yeah, Duke Nukem. When I was in high school, me and my friend would, you remember the dial-up age? We had to dial into people's computers to play. Whatever. Yep. And so like he would get on Duke Nukem, and we would, we'd be on the phone for a minute, like, all right, you ready to go? All right, I'll talk to you in a second. We'd hang up, and then of course I would put in his information on my screen, on my game, and it would dial his computer, and it would connect, and we could then chat in the game. And you could strafe to the side, use the RPG to fire at each other and blow each other into smithereens or whatever. See like guts and blood go everywhere, I'm like, oh, this is cool, but Duke Nukem, shows that it's actually you can get a Duke Nukem game for one of the newer Nintendos or whatever, but I think there might be one for the N64. But I'm like, yeah, but how good is it though? Because like I was so used to on the computer, messing with it on there and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, they say the computer's the best.
Fire.
I think I'm not probably going to get the next gen console. Although they're saying really good talk about the Xbox, the newer gen that's supposed to come out. But I got a computer here recently, and I downloaded a game called Project Zomboid. But just playing games in general on the computer here recently,
Yeah.
it has shown me about how much better the computer is than console, especially with Steam. Oh man, Steam's got the greatest sales. And so it's hell, I bought a couple of games for like $2.99. I mean, you can find a sale where they 80% off, 90% off.
Yeah.
For Christmas, I think I got 10 games for $100.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so, and we're not just talking about like indie games either. We're talking about like I got the Skyrim and the Fallout Game of the Year edition, which I already have them on the Xbox. But man, I want to play with the computer mods because man, they say the computer mods are so much different than because you can get mods on Xbox now for Fallout and Skyrim, and they say that the Nexus mods are just so much better, and the computer also runs them better as well. And so I think instead of getting the next one, I might just get a computer.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite games is definitely don't know if you've ever played it, but World of Warcraft. As far as the computer.
Yep.
And problem with I have a MacBook. Like I'm all Android all the way when it comes to phones, but when it comes to computers, I think MacBooks. Even though now from what I've seen, actually the other like HP and all the other kinds of laptops out there, they're getting better. So I think they're making them a little more competitive. Back when I got my MacBook, you get like a PC laptop, and I'd have it for a year and a half. Maybe be doing schoolwork online with it, and playing games, and like keys would fall off. Or I think I had one computer that like I paid off with Aaron's. I had one of those rent to own contracts. Paid it off. Had it for maybe 6 months before I got my MacBook, and I gave this HP computer that I paid off even to my kid, and I had World of Warcraft on it, and it seemed to run okay. It lagged a little bit, but otherwise she was able to get on there and do it. Like literally, like she had it for 2 months, and the freaking thing just quit turning on. Like it just quit powering up.
Oh man!
And it was like, well, crap! Like I just paid on that for a year, only to have it just die on us. So it's like, huh? All right, so like I stick with, Mac when it comes to computers, but I think I've got one of the one that's got like the 126 gig hard drive or something. It's one of the lower, and I guess World of Warcraft is like it's up there. So just that game alone almost took my entire hard drive, so I couldn't put anything else on my computer.
Wow.
And so I finally because I wasn't playing it very often anyway, because I was, trucking. And so I finally took the game off, and suddenly I had I had room on my computer again.
Yeah.
I couldn't even update my software, update the hardware or whatever, like go through your system, whatever, because I didn't have room to download the new whatever the Mac update, whatever.
Oh, okay,
so
you're talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, couldn't even update the system. Like when you get like on your phone where you get like, hey, there's a system update. Couldn't do it because I had.
That's how my phone is now. I got to go through and delete pictures and videos.
So, like if I bought a new computer, it'd still be a Mac, but I've already looked at like, hey, I'm gonna get like a 500 gig or a terabyte, or get something that's bigger, so I know that I could actually because I do want to get back into it, but I'm like, well, I can't put it on my computer because it's
It's funny because Viva La Dirt League did a skit to where the guy come into their little game shop to buy a gaming computer. And he's like, no, I want a Mac. And he's like, oh, what you get a Mac for? Photo, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm going to play games. And like, what did you just say to me? And then one dude come up and well, either hit him with a shovel or something, and then ended up catching up with the guy to in a game, and ended up killing him from it. And so I don't even know if Macs are actually good gaming computers or not. I know they're good for doing other stuff, especially like music. Music has been a big thing for.
When I was playing it, it didn't lag or anything. It handled the game just fine. It was just the storage for me. It was the size of the game took up my entire hard drive, and it was like, well, shit.
I got you.
I didn't realize it was that big. So I think.
Yeah, I played Final Fantasy 11 and then got into World of Warcraft and then ended up playing both of them. And now I still play Final Fantasy a little bit. Final Fantasy 11 a little bit still every now and again. It's been out forever. They took it off the consoles. I want to say it was one of the best, most successful cross-platform games, especially multiplayer at the time. Because I quad boxed. So I played it on the PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and then 2 PCs. Because I had 2 different PCs, one for gaming and one that I would do music on. Because I accidentally broke one of my PC. Something was wrong with it. I was trying to fix it, and I turned it on. And then this is a desktop. You know, there's a little switch right above your power cord, and apparently it's for different amps, and I didn't know that. And I flipped it and fried the motherboard. So I had to go build a whole nother computer. The hard drive was good, so I got to keep all my music.
Ah, man.
But now the computer's dead and gone, and so all my old school music are just in WAV files or on a CD out in the car.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I love World of Warcraft. Man, I love doing the PvP. Man, I'd be out there getting materials, be flying around trying to find the little black, what are they, little rocks that you would get.
I wish I had I wish there was a way to access old accounts, because like when I was married to my ex, we were both big World of Warcrafters near the end, because towards the tail end of our marriage, we got offered. Like we had some friends that lived up in Montana. We were in I think we were in like near Indianapolis at that point, or Gary, Indiana, or somewhere in Indiana. And we're both working, the dead end stuff, working at like Old Navy or something. I don't even remember. Renting a townhome, like kind of like coasting. And our friends up in Montana were like, working at this called like Audio Video Web, but I guess it was a converted dental office that was turned into a call center. Because I guess the owner of the company wasn't even up there in Montana. He was actually somewhere else, but he had a couple of like locations that he turned into little call centers with like tech support, customer service, and stuff like that. So the whole team apparently was all big on World of Warcraft. And so when we got up there, like I had never played it before at that point. But we get up there and, we both had desktop computers, and the whole team was like, so you guys ever played World of Warcraft? Like, what the hell is that? They're like, you've never heard of World of Warcraft? Like, no. Like, we're not really gamers. Like, I mean, we played, console games and stuff. But I was like, no, I never heard of it, whatever. Got kind of, we got into it and stuff. Like, literally, we play in the office. Like, we had to have our, because they didn't provide computers, so we had to have our personal computers actually at our station in the office or whatever. And, we would do what we had to do for work for our shift, and then like after a shift, a lot of us would go ahead and get, okay, we're done. We'll call, because we got paid a salary, so it's like we didn't have to clock in or anything. We'd just be there during our time, and then log on afterwards, and we'd all be on World of Warcraft. Man,
that's funny.
When I was married to her, I think I got up to like, I had a priest, like a female priest, that I always got to kick out of the fact that like, when you're a female character, you get flirted with by the male characters, even though you're so, and I milked it for all it's worth. I was like, I didn't say shit. Like, I had this one guy that would always like, because I'm a priest, I'm healing everybody anyway, keeping people, resurrecting them, keeping them alive. And I had this elf warrior dude that like head over heels for me apparently. And we'd go into this little, one of the quests where you go into big old caves or whatever, or fighting all the enemies, and like, I'd keep him alive. He would kill people, kill all the things around me, and keep me alive. And so it was a good team. And I guess for some reason he must have, I don't know if I think I might have told him finally, like, hey, dude, by the way, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm a dude.
But somehow he found out, and suddenly, like, we didn't connect to the game anymore because, of course, he was at that point probably like embarrassed and like, oh, dude, I was in love with you, man. I'm sorry, man. I was just sitting here playing the game, like,
Yeah. Yep. But I found out the way to get people away from you if they're talking to you. I had a buddy I was playing with, and after this, I'm gonna have to go. I actually got something that I gotta get ready for. I got to do at 1.
I got you.
But we was playing the Final Fantasy 11 game, and he was hitting on this chick. And she didn't say that she was, but it was funny. He said he was up floating and everything else, and then she got tired of him. She goes, I'm 13, right? And then he's like, okay. So we found out, just tell him, you're underage. But then shit nowadays, with the era we live in, that might actually get more people after you.
Yeah, man.
But it was funny though too, because to see the look on his face and way he was like, oh, another story about him.
Fat man over here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
yeah,
fuck,
39. Yeah. But I'll have to tell you the story about him next time we talk that I did to him when we was playing World of Warcraft.
Yep. So for anybody listening, is there any way they could see anything like music wise or anything that you want to how would they connect with you and stuff? Is there websites for you?
Well, not yet. We're working on it. I mean, I got a YouTube. It's Bach Gooey Music.
How do you spell that? That way they can.
It's a BAKGUIY and then MUSIC.
Oh, I gotcha. That's on
it's on YouTube. We'll have I guess more stuff coming out as far as promotion and people be able to see and hear within the next month or so. Already got an album that's getting ready to drop. Just got to be finished being mixed, but it's really good. We did some good work on it.
We'll get to that stuff whenever you have it live, and we can drop the name of it and stuff here, so that way other people can find their way over to it and hear your stuff.
Man, we appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me be on with you today.
Yep.
Enjoy it.
I'm sad that Rico wasn't on because it's like, man, but I know he was out and about doing stuff, so he's
yeah.
He's like, maybe I could do this, I'll be out here too. I'm like, well, just don't have it on speakerphone because that would probably be pretty bad. But given regular, then it's probably fine. But hopefully next week we can have him on too.
Yep, hopefully. So we do it next Saturday or Sunday?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Sounds great, man. I appreciate you letting me be on with you.
Yep. So I appreciate you, and we'll catch you next week.
Yes, sir. See you then, buddy.
All right.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that amazing conversation between me and Barry. Hopefully next week for the next Keep It Real segment on Real Talk Tuesday episode. Hopefully we can have Rico on there as well, but trying to make these a regular thing because I think it's a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more fun, honestly, than the regular Real Talk Tuesday episodes, even though there might be weeks where I might be inspired to talk about a certain topic, and so there might be a Real Talk Tuesday as well as a Keep It Real segment episode. But on that note, I hope you guys enjoy the upcoming Raw Chat episode coming up next. As far as that goes, just want to give a little heads up, and of course I'll mention it on that episode as well, that I don't know when there'll be another Raw Chat episode. I only have one more. The current one that's going to be posted today, that's the last one I have, the last recording I have available currently. Me and my buddy David Goldberg and his trucker friends, we haven't really connected. I don't know, I'm sure he's talking to them, but we haven't connected on the phone for quite a bit. So I've kind of been working through the episodes, and I was like, I'm getting near the end. I don't know if we're going to have any more. Hopefully we do, but hopefully everything's okay in his end. But gonna have one more at least that's gonna post after this episode, and then hopefully maybe I'll connect with him throughout the week and get one or two, so we'll have more episodes for the Raw Chat to post for you. But If not, that's the reason why. So we'll at least have these raw chat or keep it real, a Real Talk Tuesday, keeping it real segments for you. So on that note, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, but stay tuned for the raw chat, and then we'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.